Our goal for today is to learn how to multiply fractions. But when we're multiplying fractions, it's not just multiplying with fractions, because that's pretty easy by itself. We have to also make sure we're understanding mixed numbers and improper fractions. So Ms. Neville's going to go ahead and share her screen with you. And if you would, please write down in your notes at the top on a new page, fraction operations. Specifically, we're going to be multiplying and dividing fractions and mixed numbers. Today, we're just going to be focusing on multiplying fractions and mixed numbers today. Fraction operations. And we're going to be focusing our attention today on how to multiply fractions and mixed numbers. Everything you see Ms. Neville write down today, it's going to be extremely helpful that you write down. Earlier today, Ms. Neville made 2 tutorials to show you how to change a mixed number to an improper fraction, as well as how to multiply using fractions and whole numbers. And so we're going to go through that today, and we're going to add a little bit to our tutorials today, which is why Ms. Neville's recording this lesson, so that if you get kicked out of this session or anything like that, you're able to watch what you've missed. Also, if Ms. Neville goes too fast through an example or anything today, I also want to be able to help you out through that, okay? So let's go ahead and get to work. Fraction operations, specifically multiplying fractions and mixed numbers. So please write this down in your notes. What is a mixed number? A mixed number is the perfect marriage with a whole number, as we see here in the 2, and a fraction. What that literally means, what this literally is telling us, it's a darker color today, is I have 2 whole parts Here we go. Sorry, y'all. I have 2 whole parts and not a whole third one, but if I divided that into fifths, we would have 4 of the 5 parts shaded in. Okay? So when we're looking at a mixed number, it's important for us to realize that we're mixing a whole number with a part or a fraction of a number. Okay, so we want to remember that this and everything Ms. Neville's labeling is going to help you out later on. So you want to make sure you have it in your notes as well. That 2 is our whole number. The 4 is our numerator. Please label this so that you know what Ms. Neville's talking about when I start going faster today. And the 5 is our denominator. An improper fraction is when my numerator is larger than my denominator. So today, before we even start multiplying fractions, we're going to find out how do we transform a mixed number into an improper fraction. We'll have to know how to do that before we start multiplying mixed numbers with fractions. So Ms. Neville's going to go on. Remember, this lesson is being recorded if I've gone too fast. So we're going to change a mixed number to an improper fraction. So if you could write that title there in your notes. And the first example we want to do, you see an example written up there. And if you have time, I would write that one down. Let's actually do that one together. How did I find out that 4 2/3 is equal to 14/3? Well, here's what we need to do. When I write down my mixed number, I want to pull my 3 as my denominator over here, okay? So my 3 that was in my fraction comes right over here. It's now my new denominator for my improper fraction. Now, to find out what my numerator will be, I'm going to multiply 4 times 3 and add 2. So 4 times 3 plus 2. Someone turn on their mic. What is 4 times 3?
12.
12, very good. And 14 or 12 plus 2?
16.
14. So that's my new mixed number. The example that you'll see recorded today, if you have to go back and watch a tutorial on it, that I'll do with you here is 2 3/5. So remember, my first step here is to drag that 5 over as my new denominator. Then I'm going to multiply the whole number by my denominator and add my numerator. So 2 times 5 plus 3. Someone turn on their mic. What's 2 times 5?
10.
10. Plus 3?
13.
13. So when I change that to an improper fraction, that's going to be 13/5. Let's do the next one, and I'm just going to write it down. And I would like for you to change this mixed number to an improper fraction. Please go ahead and get to work. 10 1/8. I'm going to call on a non-volunteer in 3 minutes. So everyone needs to make sure they're changing this mixed number to an improper fraction. Camille, could you tell me, go ahead and turn your mic on. Could you tell me what is the improper fraction here? Camille, if you could please turn on your mic and tell me, what is the improper fraction here? If you don't know, Camille, I want you to turn on your mic and let you and I do it together. Are you ready? Camille? Okay, Isaiah, if you would please tell us, what is the improper fraction here?
88.
88?
Yes.
Not 88ths.
Wait, 18, isn't it? 18?
No. Let's do this together, Isaiah. Remember, we're going to drag my 8 over. You had that correct. Good job. And then 10 times 8 plus 1.
Oh, 81 eighths.
Very good.
That was
81
close.
eighths. We want to remember to add that numerator. You may mute yourself, Isaiah. Thank you. Okay. So now let's go into the actual multiplying of fractions. So our first example, we're going to write down example 1. We have it over here as C. We want to just multiply straight across. The hardest thing you want to remember here, step 1, I'm going to write these steps down. You want to multiply across. Step 2 is going to be to simplify. Okay? So when we multiply directly across, I'm going to multiply my numerators and then I'm going to multiply my denominators. Someone turn on their mic and let us know, what is 4 times 3?
12.
Very good. So my new numerator here is 12. And what is 5 times 8?
40.
40. Now, step 1 is done. Am I done with this multiplied fraction?
No, ma'am.
Nope, I have to simplify. So that's why we spent some time doing GCF and LCM last week, because we have to find our greatest common factor and divide by it. So if I were to list the factors of 12, in other words, all the numbers that multiply together to give me 12, I would have 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. If I were to list the factors of 40, I would have 1 and 40, 2 and 20, 4 and 10, 5 and 8. So of those, my greatest common factor here would be 4. The factor that they have the most in common, that's the largest, is going to be 4. So I'm going to divide my numerator and my denominator by 4. Remember, when we divide, our fraction will become smaller. When we multiply, our fraction will become larger. So to simplify, we want the smallest, we want it in its lowest terms. So 12 divided by 4, in other words, 12, what times 4 will equal 12?
3.
3.
3 tenths.
Yep, and now 4 times what will equal 40?
10.
10. So now my simplified fraction is 3 tenths. My simplified fraction is 3 tenths. There's a lot to do here with multiplying fractions, guys, especially when we have to simplify it. So we're going to spend some time on it today. You're going to have some practice with them today. And you'll have some tutorials that you can go back and look at. This is going to be the 3rd recorded lesson that you're able to see just today to help you if for some reason you don't get it here today with Miss Neville. I'm about to go on. Before we go on to F, I wanted us to do, I'm going to erase this. Before we go on to F, I wanted us to do example 2, where we're multiplying a fraction by a whole number. So beside those words, example 2 in your notes, we're going to be multiplying a fraction by a whole number. And I apologize for the handwriting, y'all. This board is a mess. So for our example 2, let's multiply 9 times 1/7. Actually, let's make it a little bit tougher. 9 times 2/7. It's important for us to know whenever we see a whole number, which 9 is a whole number. Whenever we see a whole number, we can easily make that into a fraction. Can someone tell us how?
Even in a denominator.
Yeah, 9/1. I make 1 my denominator, and I make 9 my numerator. This just means there's 9 whole parts. So now it's easy for me to multiply across. So my first step here would be to set my whole number as a fraction and then multiply straight across. So what is 9 times 2?
18.
18. And what is 1 times 7?
7.
7. So I have my improper fraction here, but I need to set this up as a mixed. Please mute yourself. I need to set this up as a mixed number. I want to set this up as a mixed number. So as I'm doing this, I need to turn this mixed number 18/7 back into, or this improper fraction, 18/7 back into a mixed number. How do I do that? Well, I would set up a division problem where I have to ask myself, just my erasing here, where I have to ask myself, how many times will 7 fit into 18 without going over? Or in other words, 7 times what number will come closest to equaling 18 without going over?
2.
2. What is 7 times 2?
14.
14. I would then subtract, step 3, and I have a remainder of 4. So that remainder will now be my numerator. That 7 will now be my denominator. So the actual, can somebody read the original problem to me, please? What was the original problem for example 2? 9 times 2/7, right?
Yes.
So the answer to this is 2 4/7. So we want to make sure we change any improper fraction that we get when we multiply to a mixed number. If you need to watch this step again, this lesson is being recorded. You will be able to go back and do this. That may be a little bit tougher too for us. Okay. I'll give you a second to finish writing this down. And then our example 3 is going to be F over here. Okay. Example 3. 1/8 times 4 2/3. If you would like to go ahead of Miss Neville and start solving, you definitely may. Or you can wait for me if this is still really new to you. You don't remember this stuff from 4th and 5th grade. That's quite all right. So example 3, we're going to be multiplying a fraction by a mixed number. Okay. So example 3 is going to be 1/8 times 4 2/3. My first step here is to turn that mixed number into an improper fraction. To do that, I'm going to multiply my whole number by my denominator, then add 2. Okay? So when I do that, remember, I'm going to keep my 3 as my denominator. Someone please turn on your mic. What is 4 times 3?
12.
12 plus 2?
14.
14.
So my new improper fraction there is 14/3. So now I can do some simple multiplying straight across. What is 1 times 14? What is 1 times 14?
14.
14. 1 times 14 is 14. And what is 8 times 3?
24.
24. Is this fraction as simple as it can be?
No.
No. So I have to simplify my fraction by dividing by the greatest common factor. And the greatest common factor that both 4 and 24 will have in common is 2. So 2 times what will equal 14?
7.
Very good.
7.
2 times 7 will equal 14. And this might be a tougher one. 2 times what will equal 24?
12.
12. So now my simplified answer is, the answer to this question is 7/12. Okay, so we did a lot today, guys. There was a lot of things that we needed to be able to understand in order to do well with this lesson. To do some practice today, we're staying with this, okay, for a little while longer. To do some practice today, I want us to look at some assignments that we have for our independent practice on Schoology. Let's look at that now.